Okay, so we're recording in
Okay.
progress. So Erica, there's a couple of things I feel like the Lord's telling me I need to tell you because you may know them, but maybe I'm supposed to reconfirm them. So the
Okay.
first, I feel like, because we're not just one, there's normally a primary, but I feel like he's saying I need to share with you. So there is a hearer. And yes, sometimes it's hearing the audible voice of God, but a lot of times it's you'll hear lyrics from a song. You'll hear a phrase and you're like, I don't know why I'm hearing that phrase. So that's what a hearer can be. And then a
You're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry because that is the big joke. When I speak to somebody, I always say I have a running soundtrack in my head. So just bear with me. I'm going to sing it. I did it at a client's house Friday. I'm like, all right, I'm standing here. I need to sing this to you. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the ways,
yeah,
he's telling me I'm supposed to tell you all four because it's going to be revelation for you.
Okay.
And I feel like everyone that's around you. So and obviously because I was like not going out of order and I kept hearing him say hearer. So I'm like, okay, so and you hear it's around phrases, words. You can hear the audible voice of the Lord, but a lot of times I don't think people hear that all the time, and I think it gets misused. But there is a hearer part that you don't have language again to say. I'm hearing this song in my head. You're no longer a slave to fear. It's the song, no longer slave to fear. You split the sea. So and you don't have language to know that that's normal enough to say that. And so that's the hearer. The feeler is they feel it in their body, but they don't really realize they're a feeler. So there's a knower a knower has an intuition, which would be I'm feeling this. So a knower actually uses the word I'm feeling this a lot, the language that, because you just know, like, I just feel like we should go this way. I just feel like, so it's the knower is a very intuition. Mama bear, intuition, people will use different things, but it's a very intuitive, but you actually do use the word I'm feeling this, where a feeler will not use it because it's God's way of speaking to them, but they own the feelings themselves. So they can walk in a place. I'll give an example for my mom.
That's like Alicia. Yeah, that's like Alicia. She is a feeler and she holds on to stuff.
And so what the biggest thing to help somebody with as a feeler is saying, how are you feeling today? And then they can say, and then them understanding, did you ask God, is this yours or is this someone else's? Because they just assume it's theirs. I've got back pain today. I've got a headache. I've got this. I feel sad. Like, because they feel it to the core, like almost they can't move out of it until they can understand that is their superhero. So why I say I noticed a lot of people that either struggle with panic attacks, also any type of addiction, because I think that they are trying to get out of their feelings and they don't know how to do it. So whether it's a food addiction, a shopping addiction, whatever it is, and as I've taught this multiple times, I've noticed feelers, their instinct is to try to get the feelings to go away. So they might be the person that gets diagnosed. One of the things I can say that's a huge sign that you have not, it may not be yours, is when somebody tells me they have all these physical, real feelings and they go to multiple doctors, they take multiple blood tests, and there's nothing that comes back. That's where I'll hone in and go, do you know how you hear from God? And a lot of times they don't. And I can help them in that, like just bring some awareness to it and freedom for them, because a lot of times I have several people I coach right now that this is, but me knowing that they're a feeler, even if they don't fully know they're a feeler, helps me help them, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's just ask the Lord, is this yours? When did this come on?
Can I tell you that was Alicia? for Alicia, that comment right there the other day was so freeing for her. She said something the other day and I just reminded her, I was like, hey, is that yours? Is that yours? Remember what Jodi said? Ask the Lord, is it yours?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, okay, it's not. So
yeah, and it's
cool.
interesting because, and I feel like a knower type person is like the one that almost can help other people figure out what they are, because you have that intuitiveness that you've moved your whole time. Because other people
Yeah.
are like, how are you always, but if you notice, like if you are in the Bethel culture, everybody's like, are you a feeler? Are you a knower? Are you a, and at first I was like, what the heck is that? But it really does help you understand. And I think depending on where you're at in certain times, certain ones come in different. So I have gotten to experience the feeler in, I didn't realize it was for a while, but it was really magnified through the pandemic. Because like I'll get racing heart things, and I didn't realize that was a part of COVID. I'll get these things. I'm like, what is going on? Because I have been fine all day, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, this is just coming on. So, but see, I don't live in it, so I can recognize it. So I get words of knowledge for people, whether it's to pray for healing or even to pray for deliverance, or pray for, or give them a word through it. But so I've experienced it now, and it has given me more of a compassion for people in feeler, because I don't live in it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people, they're everything. So I recognized that on Alicia immediately. And the Lord was telling me I needed to say that to her about the feeler, because
thank you.
I can,
because I think I've been going, knock it off, leave it alone. It's not yours. I've been saying that to her all week, but I'm her friend. And you know, I'm always typed.
But I think it's super important that we all know, we all understand it, because we can really help our people out, because both communicating, but both understanding, ooh, like, okay, like if you keep going, I don't know why I'm sensing this, because it really, I don't like this. Like, because sometimes I'll just know something and I'm like, I do not want to, like, I have no facts around this. Like, I have no facts.
Yeah.
I just know that I know that I know. And oh, I don't want to, like, I must be wrong.
I
So
don't
I
want to
will
know.
doubt myself. I'll doubt myself, because I'm like, how do I even say something like this? Because I'm what do you want to do with this, God? Because if I'm going to say it, people are going to say like, what? So like, for example, I was talking to Dr. Tony Robinson, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay.
Dr. Tony, my husband got to go to church with her the other day.
Really?
I was so upset. I called her. I was like, my hubby's going to be there. Please look for him. And she's turned around and sent me a picture. I was like, oh, Tony.
She's so amazing. But we were talking about, and it helped put more language in something for me, because you know, some things can be controversial. So the whole vaccine thing.
Yep.
And I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but I was just like, the only thing I heard that immediately hit me was it changes your DNA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's something. Well, then I was talking to Dr. Tony around COVID, and this even makes so much sense with why I bet you a lot of the knowers. So I believe that this virus was targeted for certain people. And this is what Tony gave some additional major proof to me, and it was sharing. And it immediately was like, that's why I've been interceding so much during last June when everything was happening, because I feel like knowers, especially, there was something they just knew that it was imagine if you're a knower and you don't know God. So you start to see it in social justice. You start to see it in, well, I'm going to join Black Lives Matters because I just know that they are targeting this. They're trying to, even before that other thing happened, right? And so I feel like the other part that, and so especially people that don't know the Lord, if we can help have empathy and go, okay, where are they moving from? They're probably a knower and they don't even know that God's talking to them, because God talks to us no matter if we've accepted him in his heart or not.
I know.
He's with us from the moment we in conception. So I
Sure.
think that inside the church, that's another thing. Well, oh, you don't, oh, now the light bulb. No, you have words and verbiage for it, and then they can push towards it more. But I think that that's some of the problems that are going on in politics and all of these things. And then you have doors open that move into an evil part on top of it, and then it gets to a whole nother area. But when she was talking to me about this, I've been praying into it all week, and I'm like, that's what it is, because I couldn't put my finger on. But there's the knowers, I think, just know that there's injustice. And so when it is you, I could only like, my heart started to almost cry all week, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense, that these groups are being targeted. And it's the same thing with having, and then the fear, so that then they'll get the vaccine, because it sterilizes people, Tony told me.
That's why I've asked my daughter not to get it. I'm like, you know what? We've got enough challenges. I'd appreciate it if we just walk this one out a little bit. So,
well, and so anyway, that one, like, I just had, and you have to have proper language around it, but at least when you understand, no, okay, this is my knower. God, you're going to have to help me with what the appropriate way to say it is, so it could be delivered. Because for me, when, like, sometimes mine will just blurt out, because it's like I've held it like before, because I would almost be fighting with myself that God was talking to me. So then all of a sudden one person says something and it just goes, and that may not have been the most perfect one, because I'll just say, da, 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 and they'll go like, well, how do you know that? And then I start backtracking. I'm like, so practicing it more and more, then you learn to discern it more, and you learn to partner with Holy Spirit in it, to go, okay, what do you want? So as a knower, it's kind of the same thing. What do you want me to do with this, God? You don't really have to say, is this me? Because it's probably not you, because one of the ways you hear from him is just knowing. So there's knower, there's feeler. And I feel like feeler, you get it for words of knowledge. So pay attention when all of a sudden you get something that has not been your normal. So if and I feel like, so is that a bruise on your arm right there?
Yeah, I was just covering it up. I showed a house the other day, and I ran into,
so I'm asking it because the Lord just highlighted something. And he said, even things like a bruise, that he could be speaking to you in it, in a prophetic way. So he might be saying, like, however it happened, maybe you accidentally ran into it, or it was something that blindsided you. But I felt like he's saying to pay attention to things physically, even something as simple as you ran into a chicken coop, because with the physical stuff, it may be something he's giving you more. That, you know how you said eagle, you have a high level of insight. I feel like there's foresight, and there's insight and foresight. So insight is now, and foresight is the future. And I feel like you move in foresight very strongly, and God is always speaking to you in a lot of ways. But for some reason, he's telling me, that's why I kept going, Lord, I want to ask her, what if it's not? And so I didn't ask you earlier, because God, like, here's what's funny. From the minute we got on the call, God was highlighting it to me, and I'm like, God, that's kind of rude. Like, and then now when I went around with it,
really not.
but now around it, he's like, no, you need to ask her right now, because that is an example I want you to use, that I am speaking to her in physical things. And so
that actually hits home, because this bruise, I showed that house a week ago, and that bruise is still there. And I'm like, dude, go away. But
is that so? This is a house that you are selling, or that you showed?
No. I just showed. I'm a realtor,
Yeah, so
so
you
I
showed
showed.
it, it's somebody
Yeah,
else is selling it, so you had a buyer.
it's yeah. I had a buyer. Yeah, it's funny because the chicken coop. I didn't want to go in. When I went over to look at it, I took one step in, and the ground was squishy, and I fell against the door. I think is what happened. And I noticed a dead chicken in there, and I walked out. Was like, don't think I'm going in there. And I'm not queasy because I live on the farm. I live on a farm. I'm used to this. I did not like the feel of that chicken coop at all. It's funny. I was like, yeah, I don't like this at all. And actually, I told my clients, I was like, I don't think this house is for you. You
Yeah,
can make your own choices, but I'm just telling you, I don't think it's for you.
so I'm gonna give you a different example. Like, let's say you walked into that. I feel like the Lord's saying that he wants you to have more conversations with him. This may not have been, it may just have been, this is
Right.
not for you, for your, but what do you want me to do with this? So when you feel something that feels off and wrong, he
Uh-huh.
may just want you to be releasing something, because sometimes
Yeah.
he uses us as secret sniper. The other people don't know it either. And they could be, and imagine if that's actually a word of knowledge or something that would make somebody so known, or, like, okay, what am I pick? What is this, Lord? He might go, why does this feel bad? What are you showing me here? And you might immediately hear witchcraft. But maybe it's
Yeah.
okay, well, where's
Oh,
this
yeah.
coming from? Where's this coming from? Which, by the way, a door just hitting you randomly like that can be related to that. And in the different things. Okay, Lord, what else are you showing me? He may go like, the people that lived here before that, not the people that live here now, but the people that lived here before that, there was a warlock here. Oh, okay, what do you want me to do? I just want you to literally break all ties from it right now and release it in the name of Jesus. And then you may
Yeah.
even have a word. So, like, I'll just give you an example. So witchcraft, one of the symptoms I see a lot are headaches. So you may even then, Lord, is there someone, yeah, Jeannie that owns the house. Jean, do you have a headache? Yeah, I do. You know what? I just want to pray over you right now. Or it could be different levels. So sometimes it may just give you strategic to pray for the headache to leave, and you may not address the witchcraft because it may not be received and it could actually shut somebody down. But then there could be a time where the Lord is saying no, because this person actually thinks they're losing their mind. They're seeing these crazy things happen in this chicken coop. They think they're losing their mind. And so God may be using you to move through it. So I think that's why he's highlighted that. And the whole thing he kept telling me that
probably
shift atmospheres, because he says you shift atmospheres and he wants you to go to a new level with it. So the deeper level that you go, and I feel like even you're going to help break people into understanding how they hear from God, like with Alicia, because you've seen a feeler now. So there's hearer, feeler, seer. So the last is seer. So see can be in different ways. So some seers like really literally see angels in front of them. They see water pour out. So I didn't think I was a seer because I have friends like that. And so like in my church circles way before, like this is like 10 years ago, I didn't think I heard from God as a knower, because they'd say, well, did you hear the audible voice of God? No. Did you see it? Did God show it to you in a dream, or did you see it? No, I didn't. Okay, Jodi, you're not hearing from God. And it would not go away. And I would get so strong. So now I understand, like, knower. And then, so I didn't think I was a seer. And a really amazing prophet, he was one of my pastors. He started to release over me, no, you are a seer. And I'm like, and then God said, you see, I heard some other people that were seers. They don't see in that big outward vision of seeing almost in the spirit, but they see pictures, and I always see pictures. I'll get a flash of a movie, I get words, I'll get a word that just like won't go away. Like, and it just kind of, I don't necessarily see it right in front of my hand, but I see it almost in my head. And then so a seer knower looks different. And then a seer, so there's different kinds of seers, but like the real my friend Craig Pickerel, I was up with his kids and Ellie came out. She was, at the time she was only 3, and she was like, and she was always seeing these lights and they thought she was having nightmares. And I heard the Lord say, ask more. I already knew Craig was a seer because he's very creative. And
Oh
I
yeah.
said,
Oh
I
yeah, he
said,
is.
"Oh, Ellie, tell me what do you feel when you see this?" She goes, I feel happy and excited. Yeah, it's
Oh,
over here and it's here. Well, are you, what do you feel? She goes, I just want to go over. I go, what is it? She goes, I think it might be an angel. And then she just starts talking. And then when she came out somewhere else, I go, I noticed she was looking towards them. They go, do you see some light over there? She goes, yeah. And so all of a sudden it helped her parents understand she wasn't having a nightmare. It's actually how she
sure.
talks to God. And so now
Yeah.
they like really encourage it. Now she's 5 and it's like, oh, what, okay, like a light, a flash, like, and those things. So yeah, so those are the 4 ways. And I just felt like the Lord was saying that he's calling you into a deeper place of really pressing into that. And I feel like the Holy Spirit is probably, you're going to come across teachings and stuff around it, but I feel like he's saying to just push in deeper. So something like that, Bruce, that you'll just be like, oh yeah, it happened and it stayed on for this long. Push in deeper. Is there something you're speaking to me, God? Why, why
Hmm.
is this still on here that long? Are you telling
Right.
me something? Is there something deeper? And it may, like it may have nothing to do with anything, but he just wants you to shift an atmosphere. Like maybe he
Just pay
doesn't want
attention. Yeah.
any person to buy that house, that now they're going to walk in and not understand why things are going on, and it's going to affect. So maybe he
Hmm.
sends you in as a secret special ops, is what I hear. Your secret special ops,
Hmm.
Erica. And he sometimes sends you
That's funny
in.
because that's what I've been doing for years. I mean, that's my covertness as a realtor has been to touch every doorknob that I touch allows me to bring Holy Spirit into any situation and leave a little bit in the house no matter what's going on, so that the people that live there and reside there and love there can experience the love of Jesus Christ and not even know it.
Yeah. And I feel like he's
Yeah.
saying, your love for your city and your love for everything, that it's kind of the spiritual warfare that's going on in
Hmm.
places and things that you pick up, that you can release the opposite. Like, and
Hmm.
sometimes it might be deeper than that, because there could actually be a neighborhood or a place that over and over. And imagine if you begin to start praying and go, if the Lord keeps highlighting it and breaking it, even in your secret place, even you don't have to be there. But God, I thank you
Hmm.
that we're sending heavenly hosts to tear down every demonic strategy that's going in there right now, God. And I thank you that you're going to radically encounter these people that are in evil places, and they're not even going to know why, and they're just going to be the drug dealer that changed and shift. Like
Hmm.
I've been to a couple of Mario Murillo things where literally people show up with guns and marijuana and bring them to the front, and drugs. And it's like there's something, they didn't even know why they showed up there. They just got a flyer for barbecue and they showed up. And so those
Yeah.
things rock me to realize what we can do in special secret ops. So it's like, Lord, okay, why do you keep, sometimes it's just driving around the neighborhood. There's sometimes where I'm like,
Yep.
why am I just driving? This is, people are going to think I'm crazy. And sometimes I won't even know what it is I'm doing. I'll start to sing. I'll be like, okay, what do you want me to do, Lord? And sometimes I'm just like, is there something present that you want me to know? But I just feel like he's saying he's calling you into a deeper level of special ops.
It goes right along with my prophetic session
Oh, does it?
at Bethel. Yeah, it does. This time at Bethel is funny. When I go anywhere with Alicia, I joke because Alicia gets all the words. She gets all she gets all the attention. I don't care. I like being with her and I like experiencing it with her. But this time I felt like God was on the side, not really on the side, but saying to me, hey, I got something real and true for you this time. and you're ready to hear it. So my prophetic people at Bethel had that little 10-year-old girl with them. So I even got a word from her, and I'm like, I love you, because I'm a children's and youth minister, worship pastor at our church, and they don't have anything in the way. And I want so much for people to start being like that, not have anything in the way to hear from God and live in the presence of God. And, so what you've said today absolutely goes along with I was just listening to it a little while ago or yesterday. Again, I try to listen to it maybe once a week, maybe every other day if I can. Just that 8 minutes of being with them and just hearing God was so cool this year. So cool this year. And I agree with you that God is calling me into more. It has been, this last year has been so heavy, almost like there's been 10 I love to sleep with a lot of blankets, like really heavy blankets. But I feel like this last year, up until about mid-December, about mid-December, I felt like there was just this heavy layering all over me and my city, not necessarily affecting the way I was behaving, or it was just that feeling of, just being wrapped tight, and I didn't like it. But I feel like in the last, 4 or 5 months, layers, every blanket is coming off, every quilt is coming off. They're not for me to carry anymore. And it's been fantastic to come out and say, okay, no more. We're not playing this game anymore. We're going to go do what God told us to do. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's kind of that.
Nice. I've had that a lot too in the last year.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, really last year, this time was
so
just
one last thing I want to address. When you said every time you go with Alicia, she gets the words, what I heard the Lord say, because he actually has assigned you to your knower knows that you almost need to encourage her, because she hides so much that even when people, so I feel like he's saying it actually is for you to know that you are doing an assignment that he's calling you to. So it does. And I will say, because you were so persistent to call me over and you guys wanted me to give it to her. So I did, because I felt like I had a discernment, but I knew I had something for you the whole time. And so the other part I feel like the Lord is saying though, is you are just as valuable, and make sure that you're not trying to help everybody else to get a breakthrough so much that there's not time for people to give what was for you. Because I had something for you the whole time, but I couldn't get back over to you.
Right. Okay. I got
because multiple times I saw you taking Alicia other places. So just make sure that, I think because you are such a knower and you naturally break, you have a very breaker anointing, I feel. And so you remind me of me. So I'm able to share really easy, because these are things I struggle with too, where but the Lord has really been speaking to me that of a worthiness, that you were just as like, no, it's not okay for people to pass you over. No, it's not okay. And no, I will let everybody else go before me. I naturally am the person that would be the last one to go through the line, because I'm thinking, well, they still have room. And it's a pride. It's a portion of pride that we have to break, because it's a lie that we've come into partnership with, that is actually of a bit of the spirit of unworthiness, but it's in a way of false humility, which is pride. Which is, I need to make sure that I'm helping all these other people. They need it more than me. And God's like, no, you need it too. Like, you need to make sure that, so for me, I have to make sure there's a balance. So sometimes I can realize I'll fight for all my friends to get everything, their healing, their prayer, their everything. But then sometimes I haven't allowed time for me. And I've had the same thing happen later. They're like, well, I had something for you, but you were never available. Like, I knew at this one, because something started to happen really fast. Did I lose you? Are you still there, Erica? You're frozen.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay, you
Yeah,
froze
I'm
up.
still here. Can you see me?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
But I knew at this one, because I had this extra time when I got into running, that as soon as I hit the premise, I had to push through some stuff to be for Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, as soon as I hit the premise, like I couldn't hardly go anywhere without people being drawn to me. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here, Lord? From the minute I walked in, because I was on Heaven and Business prayer call, people were recognizing me. I didn't even
Yeah.
think like there's people from KDE. And then even the team of Heaven and Business, they knew me and Matt were going to meet the first time. And so they like, so everywhere I went. So I had to kind of tune in to make sure, okay, what are you asking me here, Lord? And like multiple times, I couldn't even, he would bring people to me. I couldn't even get there. And so he was, but you were highlighted on my radar from the very beginning before I even know who you were. I saw the back and I kept being drawn over to you. And so,
Aw.
yeah. So I knew I had something more for, I knew I had something for you on top of Alicia because of how the Lord highlighted. But I just feel like he's saying to make sure that you don't miss out.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And I even feel like he's saying with some boundaries, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong with this, and maybe I'm totally wrong with this particular situation up in Reading, but I feel like there was a few times where maybe somebody either was like, hey, do you want to go meet for this? Or did you want to go do that? And Alicia didn't want to do it. So you said no also.
No, no, no. She didn't want to go worship, and I was like, all right, see ya. I'm
Okay.
going. Yeah, but I do tend to do that because I know that I do know that when we're sharing a car and sharing a house, you kind of have that's just my nature to
Mhm.
take care of. So, but
So I
this
feel
time I
like
was like,
what he's saying is you can set it up. So like when I came into town, my mom lives up there, right? And I was actually going to stay with one
oh,
of my
that's right.
friends because she lives in Red Bluff, and I had just seen her, but it didn't work out. And so but the Lord made me be really, because I just want to make everybody happy. And that is something like I just want, sometimes I want to be everything for everyone, and too much energy gets sucked out of me and I can't
Mhm.
deliver or get what the Lord might be having for me, which is maybe just drive around Reading all by myself. Like,
Mhm.
so like when it became, we had a little stuff that happened when Matt flew in and he couldn't get his rent a car and all this stuff. And so then he was supposed to go meet with the people that he was staying with. And so I stopped and dropped my stuff off at my mom's. And I had originally said on Tuesday, I'm going to be going straight to meet with him. They started talking to me and I got distracted. And all of a sudden I looked up and I didn't even have a message from Matt. And the Lord said, I go, but God, I might not even see Matt. And he goes, you need to leave now. You already told them that you weren't going to be there for dinner. Because my mom started to just go, oh, what do you want for dinner? And there was something, but I had said to them from the beginning, Mom, I need you to know, if you're okay with this, I'm going to be staying there, but I will be driving into Reading early in the morning. I won't be coming back till probably 9 o'clock at night. So I will stay Saturday so I can spend a little time with you. But I need you to understand this is about Matt is coming up there, all these people from Heaven and Business, and there is something I need to get. What I've noticed in the past, Erica, is I didn't do that. And the Lord is trying to get me, I almost have to speak it out to hold myself accountable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. I
Because
get
I
that. Yeah, I do get that.
naturally just, I can almost get sucked in. Like, oh, okay. So if I'm better with my language up front, is that okay with you, Mom? You know, that, oh no, I want you to stay here. It'll be great. You could just come and go whenever you want. Now she always says that, but I'm not intentional with saying it. Or same with, okay, I'm going to share a car. We're going to share a house. You know, I just want you to know you okay? I might just want to go if you want to stay in the house. So like I just feel like he's saying like certain people you go with, you just know Alicia, you already knew where she was at. So you knew she probably, so I feel like what he's saying is had you almost laid it out one more step, you like that's just what I feel like he's saying with people
Yeah.
is make sure you re-communicate it. You're talking to Holy Spirit, like, okay, Holy Spirit, what do you want? Okay, make sure you tell them that. Like for me, it's normally not the person, it's really me. Like, so
Oh yeah, it's totally me. I can get that. Yeah,
yeah, it's
I can get
really
that.
me, and I have to say it because I don't realize it, but for me, sometimes it's triggered with a possible root of rejection. So what if I tell them
Mhm.
that and they don't like that? What if I say this and now they're not going to be okay with it? Well, that's okay. You have boundaries and, but so like I'm moving into a new place with Matt and I realized he's super busy and he gotten back and I just didn't want to put him out. So I hadn't said like, hey, I really feel like we need to meet a couple times a week over the phone because I'm not there in the office. I just didn't say
Right.
it. And finally the Lord was like, you need to reach out to him. This was just Thursday. And when I did, he's like, no, Jodi, I always have time. Like, but I was like, oh, everybody else is like, okay, well, I don't want to interrupt him. But the problem is I miss out sometimes, Eric. Okay.
Sure.
Because
You know what?
I
We are a lot alike. We are
I
a lot
don't
alike. I
say it
totally.
to them. And when I told Matt, he's like, no. And like immediately he invited me on something this morning that he was going to speak on in ways that we can connect, even though we don't live in the same place, because it is different because most financial advisor offices, you're in their office. And so it's like, I'm like,
Sure.
we just need, I said, like if we're in the same office, you show up and you have a conversation sometimes. Hey, can I pass this by you? Can I pass that by you? I said,
Mhm.
so I feel like I need some space so we have those opportunities on a weekly basis because I don't want to put you out by leaving messages. And now he just told me, call me anytime. I'll call you back when I can. So that now
Yeah. You know
completely
what's funny
release
is that
freedom.
yeah, years ago I got that when I take on something new, I have to be clear and upfront with people and say, look, you're going to think that I know, and you're going to think that I'm good at what I do, but I don't know. And I probably won't ask for help. So just expect that I'm going to really try to ask for help,
Yeah.
but don't expect me to just know, and don't leave me out of stuff. Make sure you're including me and not assuming that I know, because I don't.
Yeah. And
You know what I
then
mean?
when
It's
you've
that, okay, I
noticed,
need to be upfront with you. What?
and then if you've noticed, maybe you kind of feel left out, but you're not, then
Yeah.
speak it. Like
Oh, yeah.
this thing with Matt, like it wasn't even, I even knew, like I was able to say language of, I know this is me. And so I just need to say it because now we've had almost 2 weeks and we haven't hardly talked and it's what's in my head. And he's like, oh my gosh, no, like, anytime, Jodi, like we're here to serve you. He was like,
So are
he's
you
like,
liking it?
yeah, I mean, so I didn't, it took almost 6 months to get officially on. We had
Sure.
this guy that was, we had this guy that was the recruiter role that it would now has become very obvious that he should not have been in it. So like there was
Oh,
balls dropped over balls dropped over balls dropped over misunderstandings over me having to follow back up with him, which is normally not what you do in our industry because normally their job and they get paid on getting you up and running as fast as possible because
mhm,
they want to make money on you. They don't
mhm,
want to have you dormant for 6 months. And
right.
so some of it, again, there it is. I didn't say
Yep.
anything to Matt because I was afraid he would. So I felt it from the very beginning. From the very beginning, everything with with this guy that was in charge, it wasn't like anything else. And he would mess up and mess up. But I had that fear. Oh gosh,
Yep.
if I say something, then they're not going to want me. So I hold on to it until something blew up. And Matt's like, what the heck? I just talked to him. This guy is like, he's not even working. Now, had I told him 3 months earlier, it probably would have, but I was like, oh, So instead, you know what I do? Like, I'm printing every email out, highlighting it all, following back up with him nonstop. And I would probably was enabling the situation and not bringing it to the
Mhm.
forefront because I didn't want to, be the complainer, be the
Right.
whatever. And the truth of the matter is, number one, if the people I'm going to be with are going to see that when they're like, again, I've been in this industry for a long time. I've moved from multiple firms. So he was not like anything I'd ever like, why aren't you giving me a checklist? Why aren't you telling me what I need to do next? Well, okay, let me reread this email because how the heck did I mean, I'm pretty good at this stuff. You know what I mean? When you're in my industry, there's certain things like if you miss it, you're gonna miss it. So you better make sure that so I'm like, how did I miss that you told me I needed to do this every single time?
Hmm.
It was him. And so I feel like it's the knower part of you.
Yep.
Press into it and then ask the Lord what he wants you to do with it. And sometimes it's actually verbalizing it, even when you probably don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
Because I
that.
look back at this. So anyway, with Matt and I, it's amazing, but I probably would have been up and running way longer again. And I'm still like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of working this out because with people that I don't know as much, I realize that are newer in my thing, I will hold back on things out of fear. I'm not quite realizing it's fear, but it's like, I think I could just fix it. Okay, I can just like
Mhm.
make this work. I can make this work. Well, it did not. And I was right the
Yeah.
whole time. I was, I'm like, okay, Lord, maybe I'm just supposed to pray for this guy. And I'm sure maybe I was, but there was some stuff like now, Matt's like, we are never having that guy on board anybody else. But you know what made me finally do it? This is kind of sad to say, Erica, was the fact that I know that we're going to get a bunch of existing financial advisors come on our firm. I know God's calling Christians that have not been able to ever move in our industry like all out, that and we're going
Right.
to be in multiple states because I'm in California and I met him and he's in Alabama. So I just know that I know. So you know what motivated me to finally do it was I wanted him to be able to get people up and running as fast as possible. And that Kathy, our admin, is amazing at systems. And so I'm like, I kind of think maybe we need to bring Kathy in on this. But I was afraid because other places I've worked, they'd be like, no, do it yourself. You know what I mean? So I had
Yeah.
some fear in it. But the thing that motivated me to do it wasn't for myself. It was because I knew that he needs to be prepared for this
Sure.
because this scenario is not normal. And
Yeah.
that wasn't until like month 4.5, but so
Well,
like,
maybe you had to go through it, for that very purpose so that you could be like, all of this is not good.
yeah.
Not just
And
part of it. All of this is not good.
yeah, and it definitely has brought that to light, but I also have to look at my own personal stuff. And the truth of the matter is, when I know
Oh
it's
yeah.
for someone else, it'll motivate me and I'll have the courage to do it. But for some reason, when it's for me, I almost just think, oh, I can just suffer through it. And I feel like what the Lord is saying to me in this season, and I really feel similar to you, Erica, is he's saying, but he has such greatness for you. He needs you to put a level of expectation to a higher level, a higher that
Did
is.
somebody tell you at some point that you're too much?
Yep.
Did somebody at some point tell you you're too much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not. You're not.
A lot
Yeah.
in my work,
I've had
in
it.
my
Yeah.
everything.
You're not.
And so
Actually, that's what attracts me to you. I'm like, look at her. She's all, I love that. I freaking love that.
well, and it really has been in the last 2 years. And because I cannot get over like everywhere I go, I get a very common word: stop shrinking back. And I'd be like, I didn't think I
Yeah.
was shrinking back there, but I was every single time. If I be honest with myself, I had to heal myself because I couldn't really be honest with myself because I had such wounds of hurt that it was like arrows were still sticking out of me and they couldn't heal. I mean, I've been attacked like those that God wants to use greatly, the enemy will always come in and try to attack you in your confidence and in your image and in your thing. And so I always, my heart is to help people go, okay, what do people tell you? That's probably what your superhero gift is. So what I wish I could have told my
Yeah, I like
10-year-old
that.
self, when I'd wear the bright colors and all these things, and even as a kid, people would be like, why are you so bright? Why are you so sparkly? Why are you're just a little too much, you're just a little too this, you're really pretty if you were thinner. Like, the
Oh,
enemy wanted to keep me down, though. What I didn't understand is, why
yeah.
is he attacking that? Because of what God's calling me to do, which is to be on
Yep.
stages, to be in front of people, to be bold and courageous in a new level. And I can't do that and have a strong prophetess gift. And so you
Yeah.
naturally move into that, and the enemy always comes in as, you're too much, you're a little too odd, you're a little too much, you're a little too this. And so but now when I get something, I go, oh, I didn't think I was, but hold on, God, what are you showing me here? And he goes, yeah, you knew you're supposed to give a word, but you saw Lance up there and you thought he was done. And so, and he goes, and you were supposed to step in as soon as that other person was done. And I'm like, well, but Lance
Yeah.
stepped up there. And he goes, you should have just walked up and grabbed the microphone. Hence why we had already talked to Michelle and Andy, and me and Matt both knew we needed to share a story. And I think Andy's probably a lot like us. You know what I mean? He does for everybody else.
Yeah.
And so when Matt's a
Yeah.
lot more bold than me. So when we were both sitting there and I'm like, we got to say something. Like, when is it? I was about ready to get up and go talk to Michelle, because I just knew we were supposed to release something about it and get people to get on it. Well, when Matt got done, it was like, that was me being bold. I normally would have not gotten up after that, because I knew we were supposed to get up there. Probably I had to, like, I knew that we were both supposed to get up there, but Matt jumped up, and Matt didn't go, hey, Jodi, let's go, which is CB. Like, I am, even though I'm super bold, I'm kind of shy. Like, if someone else says that, where my sister's like that real bold kid, she'll just go, hey, can I have that corn dog? When we were kids, be like, how'd you get that corn dog or the ice cream? I just said it looked nice. Be like, but mom said we're never supposed to ask somebody for those things. That's rude. Like, I would hold back. My sister is very bold, and I would kind of stand behind her, and she's the younger sister. I go, oh, okay. Like, I was really, that part of me would get intimidated. So when Matt God said, walk up there and grab that microphone from him. And I just said, I just walked up and like put my hand out, Andy, give me the microphone. That I have never done before.
See, that's funny, because it looked like such a party. You're like, all right, there she goes. There she goes. So it's funny though, when things like that happen, then people look at you and go, yeah, I expected. It's like, well, I didn't. Hello. But, I look at you, and when you did that, I was like, yeah, that's Jodi. There she goes. Being Jodi.
What the being Jodi part is I hear the tap, 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 and I would ignore it for a really long time now. And now I'm like, oh gosh, this is not going away. Okay, Lord. So I just keep doing it, even though on the inside, I know evidently nobody can see that I'm scared to death. People go, you look just natural. I'm like,
you just
if you only knew. I'm like, if I could take the videos sometimes when I've been doing all my coaching stuff for the first time, or getting on, I always have major challenges. And I literally, I laugh. I'm like, if there was a video in here, people would not even believe how I put all my makeup on, did everything in 10 minutes to go, okay, God, I will. And I get on and I rock it, but I had to choose that moment to not get on, or not lose it to the, like, okay, give me 10 minutes. I can do this. Let me grab this. I mean, now I do even have my like little makeup studio over there, so I can, because there's a lot of opposition.
Can I tell you, I quit caring about makeup. I get on online 7:30 Monday through Friday. God put me on my personal page a year and 3 months ago
I know, I love
to
that.
do a devotional. Some morning, pardon my French, but some mornings I look like shit.
So the only
I'm like,
reason,
oh, that's bad. But I don't care because I'm not here to look good. I'm here to,
no,
I just
and
want people to stand up and do what God told them to do.
I will tell you, mine is not, I will go on with nothing on, but a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
times God is telling me, no, what I need you to attract today, you needed to wear this, you needed to put the color
Mhm.
with this, there's something you're releasing in this color, and I need
Yep.
you to do it.
Well, I
Because
can tell you that there are people that see in color. Like when I hear music, I see the colors and the texture of the music, and of if somebody is speaking, and there are occasionally when you speak, you have a sing-song word that comes out. And for people like me, I will see the color of that word. And if you're wearing the same colors, there is, for me, truth to that word. Like it's a deeper truth to that word, if that makes any sense. It just, I'd always learned, somebody told me years ago that if, this is silly, if you're testifying and you're on stand or you're in a deposition, wear the same color as your eyes, and you will be more truthful. And I don't know who told me that, or if I made it up, or if I heard it from God, who knows. But I know that when I see a color of a word that somebody is speaking, and they're still wearing that same color, it helps me know that it's from God. You know what I mean? Anyway.
And that's so funny because,
yeah.
So I've realized I'm very creative with my makeup. I used to only wear one thing, but now he has me, because I do unique. I keep going, God, why am I even doing that? This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it has to do with whatever he's wanting me to release or be seen. It's really not my, like, so I'll give you an example today. I would have gotten on it with my, I had a zip up sweatshirt on this morning. And I would have totally gotten on with that. I click on something and I didn't even know if it was going to be video to get on with Matt. And sometimes it's honor. The Lord's like, no, you're getting on representing Matt. You need, wearing that because sometimes on this you can get away with certain things.
Sure.
He's like, yeah, I had you take your clothes out because my husband was still sleeping. And he goes, go put this, go out. I'm like, makeup too? He's like, yeah. You know, you just wore it yesterday, so you know exactly what to put on. It took me 7 or 8 minutes, but it was funny because I was getting ready to get on and I saw it was video and I saw my picture and he goes, yeah, you need to wear something different. And then he'll tell me immediately, wear this, wear that. Yesterday, this is actually what I wore yesterday. But so it was easy. And that's what he told me even last night. Take this off and keep it in your office. Put all your clothes in there. I was cool with rocking my pajamas, to be honest with you. But he was like, no, because I think some of it is honor, because I was getting on something that Matt invited me into and represents his firm. And so it's like, yeah, I probably should look a little professional or whatever it is. But a lot of times he has me wear certain things. I'm like, why am I wearing my hair in a braid off to this side? And literally it's crazy where he takes me, you know, in different things. So my biggest thing is, don't not get on because of that. But listen, to God wants to even dress you sometimes because he knows where he's taking you for the day. So if you're like, I shouldn't wear tennis shoes today, but so yeah, I just felt like, though, to go back to the Holy Spirit's telling me to make sure to tell you that I feel like he wants you to know, as much as it looked natural to me, that's how other people see it with you. But that's okay. Keep doing it anyway. Keep moving yourself to that next deeper, bolder place, even though everybody else watching from the sidelines thinks you're the boldest, bravest person out ever. God is trying to take you to a deeper level of where he needs to move you into. And so he's training you to even be bolder and bolder.
Cool.
Because I think that's hard for us because we kind of are a little, like, we look like we're very bold already to people.
Yep. We're going to look really, really, really cool on stage together someday, though, I will say.
Really? Okay. What are you gonna
Yeah.
tell me? I feel like you got something for me. As soon as you asked me about that, I'm like, how does she know that?
I don't know. I think there is a place for women like us, like you, like me, who live in that, what you're telling me is called nowhere, to get out and share that with people, because there's a lot of young women in this world who don't know how to operate and still honor the, I don't even know how to say, honor their family and still operate in the prophetic. You know what I mean? So I think for you, me, Christina, Alicia, all these really, really strong women, I think it's time that we start standing up and standing out and saying, hey, women are important. I've always thought that when you silence women, you don't listen to women, you are silencing half of the word of God, because he created both men and women, male and female. And I almost feel like God's saying, Jodi, it's time for you to stand up and stand into your womanhood and teach people, especially in the industry that you're in, to stand up and say, I can be fierce, I can be helpful and faithful, and I can show the glory of God to everybody I meet, no matter male or female. And I am just as powerful as the rest of the men.
Yeah. Because my industry, I didn't know when I got in it, it was like 90% men. So,
oh, girl, I used to be in the financial industry years ago, Primerica years ago with my 6 and 63. That's as far as I got. And I was like, nah, this isn't the industry for me. But yeah, it's primarily men. I work in an industry.
So I want to know when we're going to be on the stage. Let's do it.
I don't know where we're going to be, but we're going to be on the stage. I can see it. It's just like cool. It's not like a Priscilla Schreier sort of, or a Beth, whatever her name is, the funny one, Beth Moore. It's not that sort of thing. It's actually speaking truth into women in a secular arena, but speaking the truth of God to them without being too overtly.
So is it
religious?
virtual?
Does that make sense? Huh?
So that's my total jam.
Yeah. Oh, that's the real estate industry. I'm covert. I mean, yes.
So my jam is a lot more bold than it used to be, because I started first, I would just start doing makeup and stuff and just like sharing things while I was doing it, and just like devotion, and people like tell me more. But when I really got where people really saw I moved in the prophetic and prayer was during COVID. God said, go on and call it Camp Gambini. And then I just kept doing it. And it sounds like I saw you and I'm like, oh my gosh, Erica's doing this similar. And I was just, and I didn't want to do it. Like literally there'd be people that would get on. I go, okay, the next 10 people that say they want a word. And there'd be people that like literally say they don't believe in Jesus. And they're like, I want a word. I want to come on. Like, oh God, I know. God, what? Oh. And then I've like said it. You know what's funny? Can't take back live when you're live. You're gonna look like a retard if you go, sorry, I just said I give 10 words. So he would just have things fly out of my mouth where I am a woman of honor, so I can't take something back. So I'm like, okay, God, if you had me do this, then I think I could do it. So in the last year and a half, that's newer for me to use my platforms. And I think God was doing it simultaneously, because I've actually been more secular always, and then just showed up as the volunteer, as the person. I like helped bring all my gifts, but I didn't bring it to the other place. And so so I feel like, so one of the things God told me at this conference was that I need to start telling people that I'm available for speaking, and I would be willing to speak on whatever platform they have. So it could be virtual, it could be a virtual summit, it could be whatever, or you can fly me in as long as but he told me I need to start telling people this, because I've known this, but I think I've been fighting it, that I'm supposed to be, I know I'm going to be on multiple stages. And he told me I need to tell, but the new focus is other people's platforms. So I'm letting you know, whatever you want, if I can do it virtual and show up. You want to end up having a group of people, I'll just show up and speak virtually. We can promote some
Sweet.
kind of summit, something that could totally, and I can do it in all ways. I mean, I could, like, I loved what Ford said, because I don't think everybody caught this. Most of the time when he's doing his business training, he cannot break, it's 100% godly, but he uses different language.
Right. Yeah, I did. Oh, I caught that because I'm in the real estate industry. I'm like,
and I don't
yeah,
think everybody
I get
caught that because they were like, oh yeah, Ford just always, I
caught
know.
it.
Yeah, I heard him. I know. Like,
And
I
you
don't
can
think,
still carry Holy Spirit into the secular business world. I mean, you can still carry everything that Holy Spirit wants you to say. You can say to people without shutting them down, I guess is
yeah.
what I want to
Well, in a
say,
good
without shutting them
way.
down or having them.
And that's why
Yeah.
you need to, like, really have confidence. The word God's given me is calm confidence. And I feel like that is my personal word to grow into, is that calm confidence of who God says. So even to me, it's scary to go, yeah, Erica, I want you to know that you can invite me and I will be on anything.
Okay. And you can
'Cause
invite
that's
me and
scary
I will
for
be
me.
on anything. So we just did it to each other. So we good now. We got the first one out of the way.
Well, that's awesome, because I have guest speakers come in my breakthrough group coaching.
Do you really?
Yeah. Do you happen to be available this Thursday? It's 10 o'clock my time. If you're not, I do it every Thursday.
Well, the next two Thursdays, Thursday the 17th. What time?
Noon your time.
What do you want me to talk about?
Whatever you want to bring. So I'll give you an example. What I would love. So these are, I have women from all over the world on there. It's a small group. This is my one-on-one group coaching. So I charge like $149 a month, and we do Tuesdays I teach, and then Thursdays I started bringing other people in. So really, you can be interactive. You could do whatever you want. So if you want to, like, question and give somebody a little assignment and have them, all of them, write something and then ask them their questions, you can. And it really is whatever you carry and what God's putting on your heart. But what I'm thinking might be a really cool part is how you have been in the sector world and very involved in your church. And then didn't you say you're also involved in lower level government?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and how you moved from saying, no, I don't think I want to do it, to yes, God, maybe, because maybe people are in that place with something, or even an encouraging story. Normally I'm for this. It's a little different. I tell people, whatever you want to release, I turn my platform over to you and pray on it. And I know the Holy Spirit will give you exactly what. It could start out with a question. It could start out with sharing a song. It could be that God reminds you of something the next 2 days and you're like, ooh, or a new situation comes up and you're like, oh, it could even be around what I just released to you, and being bolder when you're already bold. I know Holy Spirit already knows what they need to hear. But I would love to have you on.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I was just looking and I thought I was having somebody else on and they didn't get back to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have anybody for the 17th. And when you said it, I heard the Lord say, ask her, she'll do it this Thursday.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will. Actually, he just brought something up to me and I'm going to. So good.
And, if you're artistic and you paint too, like whatever the Lord, like, you're multifaceted, but I feel like why I like to bring all different people in is I want my people to get different flavors of what everybody offers, and I don't bring just anybody. I have to know that what they carry is competent enough in themselves, or they're bold enough to say yes, even if they're scared to death. And that
Mhm.
they have a, like, so for me, one of the most important things is wanting to seek a deeper, to have a personal relationship with the Lord and intimacy. And I had people in different levels of I would definitely call myself extremely charismatic. I move in the prophetic. I'm Bethel times some, so I always laugh because I'm like, I never went to Bethel when I lived in Reading. I'm like those crazy people. And now I'm
And
like
now you're all into it. I
I'm
thought
like
that was funny when you said that. You're like, I grew
yeah,
up here, but I was never into it till now.
yeah. Now I'm
I
like
grew up
crazy.
Catholic, so I was never into anything but the church growing up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so now, but it doesn't have to, but I want, I mean, there are a few things where I feel like some people are still a bit in the world, and there's some stuff, messaging that they bring in of some new age. And I'm just like, unless the Lord tells me to bring that person in, I, I only
right.
bring people in that I know and I've seen move. And I know you, and I even have been watching you on your stuff. Like the Lord highlighted some stuff, and I was like, oh, I'd love to have her on. So I'm so glad you said that, because I had thought about asking you and then I forgot about it.
Well, I just said yes because God said to say yes, but I can tell you I'm terrified. And you know what? It'll be okay. I've had a lot of stuff happen over the last year, and this year my word is breakthrough, and breaking through some of these, things that have been in my life, these rackets that define who I am that are not from God. So this is
So
one of
it's
them.
really
Having a
funny.
voice is huge. But
So I don't know if I told you, but the group is called Breakthrough Group Coaching. So you're gonna break through on Breakthrough Group Coaching.
That's awesome. God has this, here's what I love about God. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but he's got an awesome sense of humor. For those that have it's just fun to watch. It's like, that was funny.
Yeah. When you said that, he's like, no, I don't think she caught that, Jodi. You need to tell her again.
No, I didn't catch it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So can you send me a picture and maybe just a real brief bio of a few things? It doesn't have to look all professionally, just a few things that I can share. And then I post it in we use Kajabi, so everything's private. And so I'll post it in there with them and let them know. And then I'll send you the Zoom link. So it'll be noon your time, 10 a.m. my time.
When you get my little snippets of everything, you're going to wonder how I do it all. Because I'll just list everything that I enjoy doing that God's called me to. And it's going to be a lot. You're going to be like, how does she breathe?
Yeah. And the governmental part, I feel like I even am feeling pulled to it myself, because I've had a couple people ask me about being like on the school board, and I'm like, I don't have kids. Why would I do that? But
you're perfect for it then. Honestly, you're perfect for it then.
All my neighbors that have kids and are teachers are like, hey, we've all been talking and we think I'm like, what? But
you're
then
perfect.
I keep stirring, but I say that to say, I feel like even that stirring people to make a difference in their community. And I don't even know all of the story with what you said, but when you said it, I just know that you are killing it in that area, and that it was fearful. But so like one of my big things is breaking through fear, breaking through pride, and breaking through unbelief.
Great. Fear, pride, and I love it.
Yeah. And then also boundaries and being aware of one of the things I haven't taught on it recently. God gave me this visual of I literally walked outside and saw it happen. So it was a truck that was pulling up to like a RV trailer, and it was picking it up. And then I walk back in and I get on to speak, and I didn't know what I was going to speak on. And he had me speak on that with boundaries. Like the truck has a trailer hitch, and a trailer has this. Sometimes we're the trailer, and what are we attaching our trailer hitch? What trailer hitch are we allowing to pick it? We might not be supposed to be leaving where we're at, and then with a truck, what thing are we allowing to attach to us? Because
That's
everybody
great.
will attach. So it's like, and so I have, my first client is from Wales. Her name's Elle Edwards. I don't know if you know Elle. Do you know Elle?
Mm-mm.
And she calls it a caravan. So we call it, what are you attaching your caravan to? So they don't call it an RV or a trailer. They call them caravans in the UK.
That's great. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I felt like though that you might have some wisdom in that, like as learning with partnerships and some people that may be attached to you, because I think when you're a real doer, people will all try to attach to you.
Yes, ma'am, they do. Yes, ma'am, they do. So how long is it on Monday? So I can, or Thursday?
So it's
How long?
an hour. It's an hour.
Okay. Okay.
So it's an hour, and normally I say us allow like 15 minutes or so for questions or anything like that.
Okay. All right, cool.
And it's not
You'll
a big group.
You'll be there, right? You'll be there.
Well, I'll be there. I will be there.
Now the panic is setting in.
Yeah, I will be there. I will tell you that it just depends on the day. Some people watch on the replay, so we can have between 1 to 6 people.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
so
that's fine.
You'll probably, so it might just be one person you're speaking to.
You know what? That's all right. That's all right. I've learned that every morning, that even if I'm by myself, I am going through what God is telling me to say. I'm just throwing it out there, and whoever watches it during the day watches it, they'll get what they want, or they'll get what they need out of it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And I would love for us to maybe set a time. I know you're super busy, so maybe weekly will or won't work for you. And maybe it would be less, like 15 to 30 minutes, but I just really feel like we're supposed to be connecting and having a chance to just chat and I don't know what it looks like, but I feel that really strongly, that we're supposed to like build a relationship. And I know the only way to build a relationship is to make time to connect. And when you live in the same town, it's not as big of a deal. But when you don't live, what I normally find is we pick a date and time and just be like, hey, that works. And if one of us has to cancel, we cancel, but
we don't cancel, we reschedule.
Yes, reschedule.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's plan 2 weeks from now. This actually, what day is today? Is today Monday? Mondays are usually my day when I am Dr. Rob. Hold on, Dr. Rob. Who's Dr. Rob? Anyway, Mondays are usually my paperwork day. I actually have another realtor that I called me in, like I said, to be the girl for this listing this morning. I think I told you about it. Anyway, it's funny because I had a couple of words for her, and we were praying in her kitchen. I'm like, hold on, I need to tell you something. I don't know why, but I need to tell you something, sort of thing. So anyway, so today was weird, but usually I am right here sitting with my butt in chair doing paperwork on Monday. So how about Monday? Does Monday work for you usually?
Yeah, I have one Monday, kind of same thing, a relational thing but honestly, this time is a really good time for me that we did it between 12 to 1 or 1 to 2.
Yep. 12 to 1.
Okay.
Well, for you, 12 to 1 is fine because that's 2 to 3 for me. Hold on just a second.
So next Monday?
No, I'm on vacation actually. So it'd be the 28th. That work?
Okay. Ooh, nice. Okay, the 28th.
No, but you look really pretty. Down in the drawer, one of the drawers in the desk. Probably. You do look very pretty. Honestly, I'm lying to you, Grace, because that's what I love to do. That's my daughter. I'm, in this conversation, I'm getting that my daughter is a feeler. Yeah, I'm going to start asking her, is that something you need to hold on to? Yeah. He's very much a feeler. So Jodi. So it'd be 12 to 1 on the 28th. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I just got Jodi down. I'll know what it means.
Okay. So send me a
Okay.
picture right away so I can make up that, because I was just getting ready to send out. If you could possibly send it with just a quick little bio, because I was just getting ready to make up an announcement for the week. And I thought, well, that'll be perfect. I could add it in.
Okay, what is your email address? Oops.
Jodi Gambini at gmail.com.
No dots.
Nope. Just
Jodi
Gambini at gmail.com.
Okay. Okay. I will come up with something real quick.
So is your last name Kirk?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Because I saw
Yeah.
a hyphen name. So just so you know, on my thing,
Yeah.
I say Louis Gambini, but it's only because my maiden name is Louis. But I do not go by hyphen Louis Gambini. It's so funny now that virtual, everybody introduces me Louis Gambini. I'm like, no, I'm Gambini. I only only
on Facebook it says Erica Jodi Kirk, but that's so my friends from high school could find me. That was it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I remembered there was a second last name.
Yeah. All right, and let me find might be on my other commercial. I've got some.
Well, this is a win-win. I'm super excited. And here's the thing, I don't really care. It doesn't need to be super professional. It could just be a cute picture. I like to normally say this will be our guest.
Okay. Let me find one. All I've got is videos on here.
Okay.
Of me singing kids songs. That's not fun.
Oh, I love it.
During the pandemic, our kids' church, of course, we went virtual, and I was the first person to do a virtual online lesson. I was terrified. I'm like, oh, but you know what? You go back and watch it. I'm like, who was that? Who was that speaking? Because I was like the whole time. Anyway, all right, let me find this and I'll send it to you. And then I got to get out the door because I got to go to Leavenworth.
Okay.
So I got to go look at a couple houses.
Okay.
All right. There's a picture of me and my hubby. You want both of us or just me? So good.
Whatever you want. Whatever God says to say. I'll let you go.
I'm gonna
Bye.
All right. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.